Have you seen The Queen's Gambit yet? It's really good. My husband and I watched The Queen's Gambit a few months ago and absolutely loved it. I especially fell in love with the costumes. And recently, my little book club decided to read the book because we all love the series so much. And I just had to make some costumes from the show. Now, if you don't know already, the show is basically about this chess prodigy girl who grows up and wins the big chess championship tournament. I don't know chess things, but it was still captivating nonetheless. It's all set kind of late 50s into the 60s, which, man, oh man, if I could pick any decade to live in, it would be the 1960s for the costumes alone. I love the fashion of that period so much. And so, of course, I decided that I was going to make my 2 favorite costumes from this show. Now, my first favorite costume was shown just briefly, but oh man, it took my breath away. It's from the very last episode when she is in Russia and she basically just walks up to the table, plays her tournament, and that's all you get of this dress, but oh my goodness, I had to make it. And then the second one is featured a little bit more prominently in the show. It's I want to say it's episode 5 or 6 when she's in France, and it's got this kind of mint green thing to it. Again, so gorgeous. I love both of these, and I thought that they would actually be fairly easy to do with some existing patterns. So here's what I came up with. I basically went to the store and got a bunch of, actually I got 2 60s patterns in particular. And then I was chatting with my mom and she reminded me that we had a couple of other 60s style patterns from way back when I was growing up that she had stashed away that she gave me. So for the black and white dress, I got this pattern. It is Simplicity, what is it? 1609. And it's basically just a very kind of basic shift. You can kind of see there's nothing much to it. There's a collar detail on one and a bow detail on another, but I thought this would be a good one to kind of turn into that that black and white dress. However, I think I'm gonna have to use this as a base and then do some heavy duty dart manipulation in order to kind of get that almost princess seam going on. So this may or may not work out. I'm hopeful for it though, so that's the plan. And then I also got this one. This doesn't look like any of the dresses in that movie, but I thought it was pretty and we're gonna try making it eventually, probably not for this particular project here. And then the last 2, these are the ones that I've made before, back in high school, I wanna say. And so they're older patterns. I'm not even sure if they're still in production anymore. Simplicity 3559 and Simplicity 3833. For that mint green dress pattern, I'm going back and forth. I think what I'm going to do though is use this one. Even though this one kind of looks like maybe the silhouette is a little bit more accurate, I think in reality this is going to be a little bit easier to alter to that kind of general style. So I think I'm going to use this one for that mint green dress. So excited about this whole thing. 2 dresses in 1 video. I honestly will probably recycle this for Halloween this year. We'll see. Let's be honest. I'll probably, once I get to October, I'll probably want to make a whole new costume, but it's fun to make kind of a mid-year costume just because all of my girlfriends from book club are dressing up as various versions of Beth Harmon. So that should be fun too. Hopefully we get a photo so I can show you.
For the black and white dress, I copied the Simplicity 1609 pattern pieces onto my own pattern paper and then pivoted the darts on the front section so that they would fall into this princess type seam. Then I cut along the lines that would separate the black and white fabric, and voila, here are the pieces for my front and the pieces for my back. In order to sew the black and white pieces together cleanly, I snipped about a 1/2 inch on the corner of my white piece, then pinned it all together, and sewed all of the black pieces to the white pieces. I repeated this process for the back of my dress, adding in the darts from my original pattern. Okay, so I have the black and the white pieces all sewed together. This was the scariest part for me, and I am so happy with how it turned out. So at this point, all I have to do is sew everything together, which means I'm going to sew the shoulder seams up and then the side seams up, put a zipper in, add a lining, and I'm done! Once I sewed up the neckline and the side seams, I tried the dress on for fit and was happy with it, so I whipped up an identical lining and sewed it in at the neckline and the sleeves, then added a zipper, and I was all done. Stay tuned for the reveal in just a bit.
Well, I have just been sewing all day today to the point where I kind of forgot to film. Oh, I guess that's a good sign though. I'm enjoying myself. I'm working on the green dress, and so let me show you what I have so far. I'm just following the pattern instructions. The front, and I love these darts. I think this is a really cute pattern. I love these darts on here a lot. The only thing I haven't done yet is finished off the seams inside with some top stitching, but I've got the front basically done here. And then I also have the back, and the back, that's where the zipper will go. The back has these little like ties on it, and this will eventually be like a little button kind of detail, which again, I don't think that's original to the dress that I'm recreating, but I just think it's a really cute detail from this particular pattern. So I'm gonna keep it in there, and then we'll just add in all of those black accents later. Just wanted to mention real quick here that for the sleeves of this mint green dress, I did decide to make them a little bit wider than the pattern, so you can kind of see how I just did a straighter edge on either side for these sleeves. But the armholes are still the same. I just added a little extra seam allowance. Okay, so this is where it's at. I got all the sleeves in, and I've got it hanging here so I can kind of visualize where I want to put the black accents. Basically, I'm comparing it side by side to the photo that I have, and I think what I'm gonna do is take out the neckline just a little bit. I think it's just a little bit too round, and in the photo the neckline comes out just a little bit. I wish I had anticipated that already. Let's keep going with it though.
For the bow, I cut out these rectangles. The green rectangles are 4 by 30 inches, and the black rectangle is 3 by 30 inches. Then I folded over that black rectangle, ironed it, and sewed down the raw edge to create a tube. Now, if you don't already know, turning a long, narrow tube of fabric inside out is not a super fun thing. There are tools that you can buy to help with this, but I had the brilliant idea of just digging through the trash to find a boba straw, and it worked like a charm. See, no need for fancy tools in this house, plus it gives me an excuse to go get some more boba. Once I ironed that tube down flat, I tacked it onto one of my green rectangles, then sewed those 2 green rectangles right sides together, leaving an opening to turn it inside out. I clipped the corners before turning the whole thing right sides out. And ta-da! A long stripy fabric tube.
Okay, I got it ironed, and the little bow part is done. I just have to actually turn it into a bow. I have to say, now that I have this done, I haven't tied it yet, but this definitely does not feel like enough for a bow. Let's see if this works. Okay, yeah, I'm right. Definitely. This looks pathetic. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna iron it again, and I'm gonna make another little strip to tie around, basically like this, and then fake a bow. It's gonna take more time. If you're doing this project, then learn from my mistakes. Make a longer thing so you can actually tie it into a bow and save yourself an hour. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little shorty version of this as like a middle band, and might even turn out cuter. We'll see.
Well, in my humble opinion, I think it actually did turn out cuter. So, moving on to our cuff pieces. I cut out these rectangles measuring 13 by 3.5 inches, then folded them in half, sewed them into a big circle, and hemmed one edge before attaching them to the ends of my sleeves. I did end up trimming that neckline a little bit just so it wasn't so round, then cut these banana shapes for the collar and sewed them together at the shoulder seams to make one big oval ovular shape that looks kind of like this. But I am so frustrated by this collar. I've made 2 collars now, and both of them have turned out like really wonky, and I'm exhausted by it already. I think what I'm gonna do is take a break for a little bit and then come back and try it again for a 3rd time, and if that doesn't work, then I'm calling Mom, because she can always fix these things, right? Okay, so basically at this point I've got the hem and the sleeve cuffs done. I made the tabs that'll go like this for the pockets. But this collar, look at how wonky this collar is. I'm just having a hard time getting it to lay flat and not be all weirdly kind of ruffly and stretched out in weird places. I'll let you know
what I figure out when I figure it out, I guess. I'm gonna keep working on it tonight probably because I was really hoping to have this done today. But maybe I won't. It is what it is.
Well, turns out that the answer was just fusible interfacing. Because the collar is cut in a round shape, I needed fusible interfacing to stabilize it so it wouldn't get all wavy. The scientific answer has something to do with the bias cut of the fabric and blah blah blah. Basically, I just cut these shapes, slapped some fusible interfacing on one side, sewed them at the shoulders, then with the right sides together on the outer edge, turned it inside out, and voila! Easy peasy. Except that it took me days to figure out. At this point, it was like 2 a.m., although I guess according to the clock on the wall behind me, it was only 8:50, and here's what it looks like to finish 2 whole costumes after bedtime on a weeknight. Hope you guys enjoyed the creation of these 2 costumes. Let me know in the comments if you guys loved the Queen's Gambit or felt meh about it. And of course, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.